Hey everyone, we're about a day into the season, but already one of the worst bugs we've seen in maybe a couple years. Something with if you unlock clone rifles and maybe put them inside and force close after, then you just can't log in at all. If there's any somewhat good news, Supercell knows they're currently trying to work a fix, but it sucks, cause imagine being punished for playing warships. In any case, we're still gonna do a few attacks, and luckily, it is a pretty cheap tree, so it shouldn't be too bad, even if you go 6 out of 6 chests for maybe a little while. But I do hope that half of everyone doesn't just quit warships because of the bug. Maybe they'll offer like a whole other fix instead. Give people extra keys, tokens, or maybe even reset the season. But this account did open at 4 ER. Still no flames, but we're gonna start doing some attacks. And showing what good combos for bunkers. We have both heavies and grunts maxed out, and at least on this base, I like doing a few heavies in the front, because it's almost like a meat shield for other people who are running heavy Zooks or even heavy Grens, and just have Grens for these back ones. So as the bunkers pop out, those two heavies in the first one serve as a meat shield like you're attacking them. And as far as tokens go, we are going to max machine guns, and in fact, max out warriors. One, because we have the tokens, and in some bases, they might come in handy. The main threat right now is really just shock mines, so having even 1 or 2 warriors could help for dealing with those guys. Like here even, 2 warriors for 1 engine can take it down quickly, but maybe we can even do 4 on this side. Like heavy rush over here, then do 1 flare. Yeah, I think it might work. Take something like 3 warriors on this side, and we can just start from the right. So doing these heavies, smoke is really helpful because don't gotta worry about bunkers so much and flames. And maybe once we flare that middle ER, then we can start using warriors, because they do travel pretty fast. Do 1 more smoke right now. Don't have a ton of GB, so do want to manage it a little bit. The heavy boost also is really helping out. And after a few seconds, go ahead, do that flare. Do maybe a handful of smokes. Kinda doing it late because smokes last 8 seconds, and shock mine stun for 8 seconds, so it almost works perfectly. Do 1 more smoke right here. And as the flare is expiring, we can go ahead and drop the warriors. Maybe a touch too early, but they're gonna go clear other buildings. And once that middle ER goes down, we'll go ahead and start flaring this one. Maybe a few more smokes on that side. And because warriors are super fast killing this engine, once that goes down, then just 1 more to go. The heavies probably take that shock mine, but the leftover warriors can finish it up. Maybe not a super fast time, but this space is kinda like that. You're getting 245. Funny enough, it's a pretty good base against this heavy rush style hit, but just really bad versus other stuff like artillery or even heavies and Zooks. And what a name he has. And you saw in that attack that warriors can be pretty useful just for 1 engine on their own. Here we got a 3 ER, all the bunkers up front. We don't care because we got smoke. Actually, even if 3 ERs have full defense, it isn't too bad for heavy rush. So here we're just going to use all heavies from one side. Maybe go from the left first, because there's a chance you can avoid some shock mines, or if anything, those 2 on the right side. And just as I say that, we're going to go from the right. Because if you get this engine last, then you can maybe flare up here and avoid those 3 shock mines. So these ones first. Usually when you do heavy rush, the first few shock mines aren't too bad, because already you have a really big spread with heavies. So this one only hitting 3 of them, this one maybe another handful, isn't too bad. We have our tick 4 flare, so sometimes need 2 flares, but this one should be okay. And just managing those other flares. You always want to throw it a few seconds early because the gunboat is pretty far away. So watching its health, and maybe sometimes when the engine is half HP, sometimes a quarter, then throw the flare on the other side. Get your smokes going. Here we will do that 1 flare up top, and 9 plus 6 is 15, so just have enough for 1 more flare. So gotta wait a few seconds. So annoying that all those heavies are almost about to die. It's not super great right now for no instant training, but once we get Kavan and clone rifles, it should be a lot better. You're getting 3 minutes and luckily all those heavies, just like 10% HP, but still alive. And it's always the best names too when you're in these ranks. And taking that win. And that's also going to give us 14, so we can get this chest, plus this one over here. Now flames are pretty good, we are going to get it at 4 ER. But I think first, Kavan is pretty good too. And you'll see why. In fact, not only getting Kavan but maxing him out, because the ability we're going to use for the most part is Second Wind. And you do need max Kavan to have that full level 6. 24 housing space, so a full boat just with one ability. With that, we're also going to max a gunboat, get 4 more GBE, and try doing some more attacks. Now Kavan has some other pretty good uses too. One you have his natural galvanizing presence, means all the heavies take 12% less damage, especially against machine guns and flames, but also heals your troops like a super medic. So this is one of the bases where 2 warriors are actually pretty good. We'll do 2 on this side, we'll do mostly heavies on the right, but still 1 warrior for a bunch of those shock mines. And the main thing with Kavan, well, we don't want crystal crits, is when you do Second Wind and you delay Kavan, there's a chance some warriors can get a bunch more mines. So here we'll do 2 warriors, get the heavies out right here. I'll already start flaring on this side, because the warriors are already walking that way, and the heavies want it too. And on this style base, once this left side goes down, and you flare over here, that's when I like dropping Kavan. These warriors also clearing some more mines. So because you delay him so long, once you flare this other ER, then you can do some second winds. So do that flare, do a second wind, make sure you get a few smokes going. In fact, we did 2 second winds because all those warriors that come out are clearing those shock mines. Sometimes if you save enough GBE, you can even do a 3rd second wind. It really just depends on how many smokes you need. So we'll do that last flare, enough for 1 final second wind. And Kavan's dead, but he served his purpose. So all those heavies, even a few warriors, and getting a 3-minute time. It might have been a bit fast hit, so we can break it down after, but you see that a dual purpose of warriors. One to kill 1 engine pretty fast, and a lone boat for clearing some shock mines. So like we said, on this base specifically, with 1 engine here, 2 on the far right, electing 2 warriors, and you can delay the other boat by maybe even a few seconds, just watching the left side because once that engine goes down, then you can go ahead and flare this one. Once you send this flare, then you drop Kavan, because by the time this one goes down, he's in the perfect spot for some more second winds. Doing a few smokes to keep warriors alive, and you finish the base. And you can see we're spending all our tokens, maxing out warriors, Kavan, so we're not really planning on artillery anytime soon. In fact, not even at 4 engines because Kavan and later with clone rifles might be enough for most 4 ER bases. But here we have this base, we can do the 2 warriors on this side, heavy rush and warriors over here, and try it out. So again, getting some warriors out here, get the heavies on the right side, and sending that 1 flare. You want to stagger the warriors by even like half a second, just so that first shock mine doesn't kill everyone. And once the left side goes down, you can go ahead and flare the other ones. Get that flare going right now, then we drop Kavan. These warriors helping out with those shock mines, and see how the rest of it goes. We'll do a second wind, actually maybe right now a bit sooner, just so these warriors we know for sure are going to kill the other shock mines. Do 1 more second wind right here, maybe a few smokes. He does have a bunch of Grenzen bunkers, which might be okay. Hoping Kavan stays alive, but he's probably going to get shot. Do 1 more flare in just a few seconds, get that going right now. But I think a few warriors alive, yeah, especially getting that shock mine. So hopefully it's an okay time, and it's around 3 minutes, so maybe not too bad. The Grenzen might help us out, damaging that engine for us, but pulling a 254. And against 20 building health should be a solid time. It was against a 17-2, so mismatches do suck. And look at that, I guess sometimes it works out. A lot of stars, and it's funny because I think we copied his base too. And here we got a bit of a different style base. 2 engines on the right side, 2 engines on the left. But we can do a pretty similar approach. We are going to use some warriors for mainly a few mines, especially those boom mines here, which can do a bit too heavies. But it's really just starting from the right side. Doing the 6 heavies right here, and we'll do 1 warrior maybe right now. We go ahead and start doing some flares. You do want to stagger the warriors still. So on this side, do maybe 1 more warrior, and Kavan also. Usually on this space, I like doing Kavan around when they're where that mortar is. And the main thing is just doing flares and good smoke timing. So waiting a few seconds, doing 1 flare with 1 smoke, and starting 1 second wind, because those warriors should clear the boom mines. Doing 1 more second wind, and 1 more flare. Can maybe do a smoke on this side, because not only clearing some boom mines, but if enough warriors get to the engine, then maybe some damage too. Kavan's still alive, which is good. So doing 1 last flare with maybe not enough for a second wind, but can do a couple smokes. It does suck we're losing a handful of heavies, but should be enough to take it down. Kavan's still alive, so doing that last bit of healing. And not really a 3-minute time, but around the same as before. This time, getting a 252. This attack can still work if he has shock mines, just do the same idea. As long as you delay warriors and Kavan, you get more of a chance that they are going to clear the mines. And it's also going to be just enough for rank 15 getting this chest. And for once we're lucky and we have exactly enough keys to get clone rifles. Even though there is that super nasty bug, we're gonna not force close any attack. But clones are super good because not only for defense in bunkers but also for offense. First we make sure we change our bunkers here. Instead of heavies, we like 8 clones on this side. And just like before, this first bunker should have mainly clones. And because there's only 1 housing space, here we can add 2 more clones to all the other bunkers with Grens. And this is only the defense side too, because as we'll see pretty soon, using some clones in attacks should really help out. Now clones are better than warriors in almost every way. You get more of them. Once the main trip guys, you got the little guys to help out. But also for defense, because a lot of people with artillery or clearing with heavy Zooks, heavy Grens, those clones in bunkers are pretty annoying. And on some dirty bases like this, probably would not finish with warriors because of shock mines, flames, and boom mines. But we'll try it out with clones. This one specifically we can heavy rush from the left side. So doing 1 clone, get 6 heavies out. And on this space I like Kavan early, just because we're going to do a clone later on for some more distraction. So get the second clone right now. And since the engine is kind of far away, we like doing 2 flares. But you'll see as the clones pop, they just stay there, distract for even longer, especially those clones over here. And in a few seconds, still doing those flares. Not doing too many smokes because I want to save some GBE later on. But here all those clones on the right side, distracting those buildings. 1 more flare right here. We are a touch early so can go back for it. Just trying to make sure we do a few more smokes. We'll do 1 more second wind maybe right now. And as the top engine goes down, can go ahead for the bottom one. And the final one right here. So it is pretty dicey, but because of the clones still popping everywhere, we can finish a dirty base like this. Just waiting a few more seconds, and luckily have most of our heavies still alive. And that guy did have 20 building health, so technically a fully maxed out 4 ER, at least on defense. And because clones are so strong in doing these attacks, we're not going to go for artillery or brick, instead waiting maybe a few days until we go to 5 engines. And as far as next steps go, we still are going to pick up flamethrowers, and after move on to troop damage, which should hopefully be another rank up tomorrow. Otherwise, save for 5 engines and keep moving forward. Now in this space, we can do a pretty similar attack, but instead of 1 warrior on the right, we'll just take a clone. So doing the warriors right here, everyone else on the right side, and send the 1 flare on the left. The main thing again with these style bases is when you drop Kavan. If you drop him too early, then you don't get a good angle for second wind. Just watching the left side, and then sending over that flare. Once you flare the second engine, then you drop Kavan. So the clones right now aren't doing too much, but when they start dying then should help on the right side. We'll do 1 second wind maybe right now. Get the other flares on the right side. In fact, I guess we got mostly warriors. But I think to some extent that one Buddha clone should help out. Hitting down this engine, waiting a few more seconds for that final flare. Get that going right now. Because even towards the end, as the clones pop, they distract the other buildings, so should help keep the heavies alive. But in this one, pulling 301, so I guess a little bit faster than just using warriors and heavies. And with all that, that's going to give us rank 16 right on the dot, so we can get this chest. And these whole attacks seem a lot more fun than even before. I like the inclusion of warriors and clones because it's a bit easier for notice and training. But like we said, our next steps is getting flames. And tomorrow we should have just enough keys to get troop damage also. Eventually, we're going to pick up this boost. Was thinking about Grens before because you have them in bunkers. But if later on we pick up cryos or even lasers, they might be way better in bunkers. So right now doing these hits with Kavan, you get 15 more healing and it might be even better on offense. I don't think it matters too much, but there's a good chance we'll pick up that Kavan boost. And I know it was a pretty long video today, but hopefully it should get you in good shape for the first few days of the season. Really hoping to fix that clone rifle bug. It's already been a full 24 hours. But even if you are behind, go 6 out of 6. It's a cheap enough tree that maybe give the rest of the season a shot. Otherwise, that's going to be it for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.